For question 1, this was probably the most question that required the most work, maybe. Hopefully not the most confusing, but definitely required the most work if you're going to actually do it the right way. I'll show you how to do it the easy way. So it says a function is continuous on the closed interval from 0 to 8 and has the values given in the table below. They want a trapezoidal approximation for the integral from 0 to 8, found with 3 subintervals. And they're telling you the solution is 20k, and they want to know what's k. So first of all, remember that the integral just means the area under the curve. So if you plot these points, they would want the area under all of those in trapezoidal form. So if we remember, the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the base. So the base for this first interval from 0 to 3 is a base of 3. So 1/2 times the base times height 1 plus height 2. So the first one plus the second one. So 5 plus k squared. And remember, just like we talked about, that you're not allowed to do it all in one formula. I would be doing this all in one big long equation, except for the fact that these bases are not equal, so I'm not allowed to do that. So I have 1/2 times 3 times 5 plus k squared. Then I add the next trapezoid. 1/2 times, this one has a length of 2, so from 3 to 5 would be a length of 2. And then I add the heights together, k squared plus 7. And then the last one would be 1/2 times, this one has a length of 3, from 5 to 8, that's a length of 3. And then 7 plus 10. And if I add together all those areas, they're telling me that all of those together should equal 20k. So the way I see it, we have two options. We can either go through and simplify this formula and multiply it all out. By the way, I think this question might be a little bit probably too far-fetched for something on a benchmark or an AP test, just because it requires like the quadratic formula and simplifying it. Let me show you the work really quick, just so you guys can see how much goes into actually doing it. So here's the work of how much it goes into actually doing it. If you actually multiply out all of this stuff and distribute it and all that kind of stuff and combine all the like terms, you end up getting a quadratic equation, and it has decimals in it, so you have to use the quadratic formula, so on and so forth. And you end up getting that the answer is 4, all right? Which is great, and that's fine and everything, and this might be the fastest way, or the most mathematical way. But some of you guys may, make a mistake in here, or you may just get frustrated and you don't want to use the quadratic formula. And so another way, obviously, since it's multiple choice, is just to start plugging in these values. And luckily, because they repeat themselves, like we have 4, -4, 8, -8, and then none, you pretty much only have to do 4 and 8, because the negatives wouldn't really make sense. It's not going to, you'll notice that when you square k and there's no negatives on this side, that it's impossible for 8 to equal a negative on this side. So the only possible options from ours that I can see are 4 and 8, or none. So if we try 4, we try 8, and neither of those work, then I would have chosen E. So again, if you just plug in 4 right here, so let me just kind of do it over the top so you guys can see. If you plug in 4 here and you plug in 4 here, and you simplify those, now that there's not variables anymore, and plug in 4 here too, you'll realize that this equation actually does work, and it does simplify to what it should simplify to. So that's one way to do it, and if 4 didn't work, you could try 8, and if both of them didn't work, you could try, or you would put E. So if you like doing it that way, just kind of plug and chug and guessing the answer, that's fine. But if you want to see the entire way of how it's written out and how to actually do it, like I said, go back to that picture that I had up there. So rewind the video back to that picture, and you guys can see how to do it using the quadratic formula. Again, this question's probably a little bit harder. The concept is definitely on the AP test. It's definitely on your benchmark coming up. But this question might be a little bit more difficult just because it has the k squared and all that. So the concept is there, where you have to find a value from the table, but maybe not to the extent that this one tests on.